We know that climate change is actually impacting jobs now because it's impacting our climate now. Are we going to let American taxpayers clean up a Canadian oil mess? We do not want drilling off our coasts.
Maria Cantwell is the Senate's leading advocate for protecting the ocean and the fishermen who depend on it.
Maria Cantwell's leadership in Congress has been crucial to our success out here. We've had many problems with trying to keep ocean coastal areas cleaned up. We've had salmon that have been listed. We've had ocean acidification, which has affected shellfish growing. She has been in the forefront in Congress in calling attention of the country to the problems out here, sponsoring legislation that is bipartisan and has passed overwhelmingly to deal with these kinds of problems.
Senator Cantwell championed and passed the Federal Ocean Acidification Research and Monitoring Act, the first federal legislation of its kind. In 2009, when 80% of young oysters were mysteriously dying off in Puget Sound, Senator Cantwell secured federal funding to deploy the first ocean acidification monitors at shellfish hatcheries. This immediately reduced oyster seed death and saved thousands of shellfish farmer jobs, not to mention healthy ecosystems that rely on shellfish for prey and habitat.
Commercial fishing in Washington State is a $30 billion coastal economy with 42,000 jobs and contributes about $1.7 billion to our gross economic product. For us, these are impacts of climate that are being felt today. Not in the future, they're being felt today, and it threatens a key industry.
Recently, Senator Cantwell introduced the Bipartisan Coordinated Ocean Research and Monitoring Act, which would require NOAA to devise a national monitoring and research plan for ocean acidification to protect ecosystems and coastal economies. Her bill also requires NOAA to work with fishermen to determine where monitoring is needed most.
Her work to reauthorize the Integrated Coastal Ocean Observation System Act, ICOOS, has been outstanding. She's been able to work in ocean acidification into that critical legislation, expand ocean monitoring to help us better understand where ocean acidification is occurring, identify where there's vulnerable economies and vulnerable species, and prioritize the country's resources in those areas.
Efforts are underway to establish Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary as an Office of National Marine Sanctuary Sentinel Site for ocean acidification. Olympic Coast Sanctuary, in partnership with NOAA's Ocean Acidification Program, aims to address ecosystem health within the sanctuary. Senator Cantwell is a strong supporter of sustainable fisheries management and a vocal defender of the science-based approaches in the Magnuson-Stevens Act. She is also the champion in Congress for not only protecting threatened and endangered fish, but also protecting healthy stocks before they become endangered.
This bill establishes a public-private partnership and is designed to streamline and coordinate the efforts of a well-defined science-based approach for the conservation of salmon stronghold populations.
Senator Cantwell is also the leading voice in opposition to the proposed Pebble Mine in Bristol Bay, Alaska, home to half of the sockeye salmon on the planet. She called on the EPA to conduct a scientific review, which proved that Pebble Mine would destroy up to 94 miles of salmon spawning habitat.
Save our jobs! Save our jobs! Proposed Pebble Mine would poison the headwaters of these important Bristol Bay salmon watershed.
She's asked President Obama to use the Clean Water Act veto authority to protect Bristol Bay and the 14,000 fishing jobs which depend on Bristol Bay salmon.
The Bristol Bay issue has been what you and I have worked so hard together, and I cannot thank you enough for standing up for fishermen, standing up for science-based decisions, and making sure that we don't have one of the world's largest mines pollute the world's most pristine national treasure that is Bristol Bay.
Senator Cantwell reached across the aisle to pass the Coast Guard Reauthorization Act of 2010 to significantly improve oil spill prevention and response policies. It increased the types of vessels subject to the voluntary area to be avoided. She also worked with the Makah tribe to secure a permanent oil prevention and response tug in the Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary, because the key to oil spill policy is preventing oil from ever entering the water. As a result of that legislation, NOAA went back to the International Maritime Organization in 2011 to amend the applicability of ATBA to further reduce the risk of a catastrophic oil spill in the sanctuary.
Congratulations, Senator, on this well-deserved award. You truly are a leader in ocean conservation.
Senator Cantwell, congratulations on your leadership award this evening. There's nobody else who deserves it more.
Senator, on behalf of all of your constituents here in the state of Washington, let me commend you for this effort that you've been making over several decades to ensure the not only health of the sound, but the prosperity of the people that live in this area, because it's so tied to the health of that sound. So congratulations, Senator, you richly deserve this award.
For her tireless efforts to protect the ocean for the people of Washington State, our country, and the world, the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation honors Senator Maria Cantwell with the 2016 Leadership Award.